So is this news out of Turkey big? Could this lead to the defeat of ISIS? Retired Air Force Colonel and Congresswoman Martha McSally joins us. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, too.
So Turkey's getting more involved.
Right.
Good news?
Absolutely good news, especially the access to Incirlik Air Base, which is really going to allow us closer access to the targets that we're trying to go after right now. Some of our fighter forces are traveling 3 hours from southern states south of Iraq in order to get to the target area. So this is a game changer just from the logistics point of view. I've been really pushing the administration to at least get access to some of those bases for combat search and rescue since we saw the fate of the Jordanian pilot. So this is pretty big news.
Now, you've been to the region.
I have.
And what have you learned that they're facing on the ground?
Well, some of the challenges that we're having is this loosely affiliated group to the PKK, which we list as a terrorist group, the Kurds, is called the YPG. They have been our only reliable asset on the ground in northern Syria in order to fight against ISIS. We've got the foreign fighter flow coming across the Turkish-Syria border. We've got the challenges of the refugees, and we've had Turkey sort of sitting on the sidelines. And I agree, the suicide bombing, I think, is a game changer. Maybe the internal political dynamics might be a factor. The Iranian nuclear deal, I think, is also a factor. And Turkey seems to be willing to get more involved, but it's part of a convoluted and really sort of incoherent strategy that we're dealing with in the Middle East and related to the fight against ISIS. That the friend of our friend is our friend, and the enemy of our enemy is our friend. And if you look at these different factions, it becomes really difficult to understand. Turkey's interested in also addressing the Assad regime, which the Obama administration has not been willing to do, which is another reason they've been on the sidelines.
Which is sort of a conflict, because if Turkey wants to get rid of the Assad regime, we're not doing that,
right.
And yet we are aligned with Turkey trying to get ISIS. I mean,
right.
It does get very complicated. It's in terms of who's on which side about what.
Oh, absolutely, and you're seeing it again as Turkey's now getting more involved. They're conducting strikes against ISIS, but then also against PKK, so you've got this Kurdish element of their own fight that they've had for many decades with them that's also getting confused with the issue. So very complicated region right now.
I was in Iraq a while back, and on a refugee camp in Iraq near Erbil, where all these Syrian refugees were. Now more Syrian refugees have gone on into Turkey. The humanitarian crisis there is absolutely mind-boggling. We pay attention to ISIS and how many bombs are dropped and everything, but it's staggering how many people are suffering.
Oh, absolutely. There's millions of refugees that are flowing over the border into Turkey, into Jordan. And we've got the Secretary of Defense announced we have 60 fighters that we're training up, to be a partner on the ground in Syria, and that's not going to work for us. So this YPG group, which is an offshoot of the Kurdish fighters in Syria, has been our only reliable partner on the ground in northern Syria right now. So Turkey getting involved certainly is significant, but they have different interests than we have. But the access to Incirlik Air Base is huge.
It's big. Anyway, Congresswoman, nice to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greta.